we have a function f of x equals to negative 1 over x, and then the point 2 comma negative 1/2 is a point on the curve, because if you let x equals to 2, y is equals to negative 1/2. So what we are trying to do next is we would like to use the limit definition of derivative to find f prime of x, and then we plug in the x value to find the slope of the tangent line at that point, and then we use the point and the slope to construct the equation of the tangent line. Alright, so f prime of x, so using the limit definition, I always copy the formula first. So limit as h approaches to 0. Notice in some textbook, instead of using h, they use delta x. Alright, delta x and h depending on the preference of the author. Fx plus h minus f of x divided by h. So that is limit as h approaches to 0. Please start with an equal sign and a limit as always. Alright, negative 1 over x plus h, and then minus f of x, right? So that will be minus negative 1 over x, and then we divide that by h. Alright, and then what comes next? The next step is we would like to get a common denominator, right? Because we are trying to subtract two fractions, so common denominator is necessary. So what's the common denominator? So for the first fraction, I do need to have an x in the denominator. So I am going to go ahead and multiply this by x over x. And then for the second fraction, I would need to multiply top and bottom by x plus h, and then x plus h. All right. And then the next step, start another line. So we have that limit as h approaches to 0. And then, oh, this one, for fraction, do you see that we are having a complex fraction right now? So we have a fraction inside another fraction. So as a result, I will just pull the h out, and then I do the work right here. So the first fraction, we have negative x times 1. And then this, I will just do x plus h times x. And then minus minus, that gives me a plus. The top is x plus h. The bottom is x times x plus h. So now we have a common denominator. And then the next step is we are going to have a negative x plus x, right? So we have a limit as h approaches to 0, 1 over h, and then we have a negative x plus h divided by x plus h, the whole quantity, times x. So if you look at the top, do you see that the minus x and the x is cancelled, right? So we only have an h left. And then the next step, we have limit as h approaches to 0, 1 divided by h, multiply h divided by x plus h times x. And then once h goes to 0, so as h goes to 0, so this will be cancelled, this will be cancelled. Oh, by the way, you cancel first. And then when h goes to 0, I should erase this. We cancel that first, and then as h goes to 0, what happened? We have equals to, and then we have do we have any negative? The answer is no, we don't, right? So we have 1 divided by x plus 0 times x. So therefore we have 1 divided by x squared. And then what is this? This is called f prime of x. F prime of x has a name that represents the slope of the tangent line to function f at any x value. Negative 1 over x. So this reciprocal function, right? You have two curves. So at any x value. But, by the way, x cannot be equal to 0, right? Before I say any x value. You pick any x value, okay? Just don't pick 0, okay? Anything other than 0. And then you have a point on the curve, right? At that point, the slope is equals to 1 divided by x squared. And then whatever x value you choose, you plug it in, you will get a slope. Now, we have a point. The point is 2 negative 1/2, right? So x comma y is equals to 2 negative 1/2. So that means x is equals to 2. And then the slope is equals to f prime of 2 that is 1 divided by 2 square, that is 1 over 4. So this is the slope of the tangent line. To the function at 2 negative 1/2. And then what about the tangent line? The tangent line, let's use another color to do it. So for the tangent line, we have y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1. In algebra, we call this a point slope form. So this is called point slope form. And then y1 is negative 1/2, negative, and then equals to 1 over 4 x minus 2. And then you have y plus 1/2 equals to 1 over 4x minus 2 over 4, which is 1/2, right? And then you subtract 1/2 on both sides, so y is equals to 1 over 4 x minus 1/2 minus 1/2. As a result, we have y equals to 1 over 4x minus 0.5 minus 0.5, that becomes a minus 1, right? And then what is this called? This is called equation of the tangent line to the function at this point. The point is 2 negative 1/2. Now, you might ask me, hey, this, like, what if I have another point? So let's say x equals to 10. Do we still have the same tangent line? The answer is no. When x is equals to 10, you don't have the same tangent line. So when x is equals to 10, f of 10, what is that equals to? That is equals to negative 1 over 10, right? So that means y is equals to negative 1 over 10. And then the slope, you have to plug it in, f prime of 10. So that is 1 divided by 10 square. That is equals to 1 over 100. And then you do y minus y1 equals to the slope times x minus x1 to find the equation of the tangent line. Oh, by the way, the y minus y1 is called point slope form, and then y equals to 1 over 4x minus 1. This is called slope intercept form. They have their own name. All right, that is the end of this video. If you think my instruction is helpful, give me a like, share the video for me, click the subscribe button. If you're on your way out, appreciate for your help and support. I will catch you all in the next lesson. Signing out.